across the TV screen. Ky and Spider laughing loud, making quite a scene. Honeybee, she sneezes, laughter fills the room. Kahuna Nui steps in, chases all the gloom. Catalano TV fun times, epic blue spirits alive. Friends just being who they are, stars under the same sky. Spider flips the channels, Kahuna Nui stays close. Joey strums guitar strings, Honey C feels the most. Laughter echoes endless, stories in the blue. Ky and Honey dreaming, making moments true. Catalano TV fun times, epic blue spirits alive. Friends just being who they are, stars under the same sky. Laughter echoes endless, stories in the blue. Ky and Honey dreaming, making moments true. Catalano TV fun times.
And the bouquets, beach as welcome to Ky and Friends Fun Times. That's right. Great to see y'all in here. It is a wonderful Monday morning. This day has Monday written all over it. Well, for not quite the reasons you might expect. It has been quite the weekend, though, has it not? It's just an incredible weekend. Just crazy stuff, man. Anyways, let's say good morning to the chat. Miss Honeybee, my better three quarters. Good morning, good evening to you, Ram. And Terry Nee, our wonderful friend who's wearing his birthday suit. Happy birthday, Terry Nee. He's got naked knees. What are you going to do? Hey, it's how he rolls. It doesn't matter when you're walking through the cornfield and nobody can see you. Only the German Shepherd. Anyways, I hope you're doing good this morning, buddy. Terry Nee sent me some of his wizardry work that he does, and he just had some epic moments of our dear friend Kahuna Nui, who greeted us with his presence Saturday morning. It was just a blast, man. And Terry had some fun with it, making some real short video clips with just fun music behind it. It was so funny to see. I tried to share them with Kahuna yesterday, but you can't copy and paste those kind of things, I guess, in X or Twitter for that matter. Anyways, it was a just wild weekend. We don't do politics on this show typically. And so I'll just describe things from a superficial point, I guess. But Saturday evening, I experienced many different emotions over the course of a very short period of time. And a profound experience. There's moments in your life where you can't forget where you were. The moment is burned into your mind, the experience, right? These kind of things happen. Not always good, but I just experienced the full range of emotions. Extremely angry, extremely disgusted, and extremely joyful, extremely happy, extremely enthused, and a sense of hope and joy for the future was coupled with the possibility of a sense of enormous, profound grief that could have ensued. I hear people talking about, oh, it's, a couple inches away. No, we're talking about an angle. We're talking about probably less than an inch that would have ripped open the thickness of a skull and tore out brain matter. Well, it's that close. And it was just one of those experiences you just can't remove yourself from. It's just so overwhelming. And can't help but to think about how people have been portrayed, and people want to blame. It's normal to put something onto a group when something happens, right? It's normal. Now there are extraordinary points that need to be made about some responsibility, anyways, in terms of this sense of painting your opponent in a way that is clearly not representative. We've got people, we got some just terrible figures from history, just god awful figures from history. And when you use them to paint somebody who's been a leader of a democratic republic, when you use those type of characterizations to paint someone from a democratic republic that has balance of power, that one person cannot just rule like they are Caesar, God on earth, so to speak. It's just extraordinarily irresponsible to characterize one as, say, Hitler, for example. It means nothing anymore when you use such things to characterize someone who has no remote resemblance in terms of policies or death brought unto innocence. It's just, there's no comparison. And when you start to use such characterizations, the definition itself becomes worthless and means nothing. And so to see people refer to someone that was a democratically elected official as someone who is a tyrannical tyrant, someone who is a fascist, it's quite the disservice. And then it leaves those who are, well, let's just say mentally vulnerable, easily influenced, or for whatever reason, whatever programs, whatever, there's going to be all kinds of conspiracy things that are thrown out. We expect to see that kind of thing in this type of instance, but it's a sad day in terms of reflecting on how one has been painted, and then we should be surprised that something happened when somebody has been equated to one of the most abominable figures in history. And let's be honest, they believe it. They believe it, even if you like or you dislike the personality. If you're an objective human being, there's a big difference between these characters historically. It's just, there's no comparison, right? If you're being objective, right? It's just crazy. And so Saturday was just such a range of emotions, was absolutely crazy. And I think you have an image that's going to live on in history for as long as this country is able to sustain itself. The image of a man who just survived an assassination attempt, bleeding, pretty heavily bleeding, onto himself and the ground and his clothes, has the wherewithal to stand up and fist pump, fight, fight, fight. I want you to think for a moment what it is to be in those shoes. And just imagine what a natural born leader it takes to have the character and the wherewithal to stand up in an instant when that happened. That is a natural born leader. I don't care if you love him or hate him. That cannot be denied. And then to see these press stories where he's being characterized as, there was a loud noise and he was taken off the stage, or he fell down. These are all the false press reports. You could find them if you want to look for them. He fell down. Trump fell down. And this and all these things that are just, the spin machine was in full cycle. And there is no amount of damage control that can turn this one. It's done. It's over. And the only hope they have is to, I hate to say, try to finish the job. And I don't think that's going to be able to happen here. I think that things have gone too far, and frankly, the head of the security detail for the Secret Service needs to resign. Clearly, this is something that Elon Musk has called for as well. When you have people who are trained, those snipers didn't have a lot of places to point their guns and their sights. And if you understand the technology that they have access to see and to sight in, they can see the heat coming off from a person. They can see that there's a person there. And having an excuse for local law enforcement to be told several minutes, 2 to 3 minutes in very least, that there's a guy crawling on a roof with a rifle. I mean, the very least, is there any excuse for not pulling him off the stage immediately while that guy is doing his elbow and knee crawl on a surface and that radio message can be conveyed? I mean, let's be honest. It could have been done in a way that was not terribly disruptive, but there's really no excuses here to be in the position. See, that's the thing. When you're in a position when you are looking for something that will almost never happen in the course of your career, when that event occurs, I'm referring to, say, the snipers here, okay? When that event occurs, you cannot hesitate. It's just you certainly don't want to take out a civilian, but I mean, there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. And then we'll look at the moments right after it. You see he is surrounded by courageous people who are ready to use themselves as human shields. And these are big dudes, right? They're covering them. They're laying on top of them. There's all the best of intentions there, right? And of course, they have armored undercarriage, so to speak, right? Except for their heads. And you see these agents all surrounding him as he stands. And then you see also a lady agent in front of him with her head cowering forward. Exactly the opposite of what you want to see in a presidential security detail. Now, I'm not criticizing the sex. I'm criticizing the actions. I'm criticizing the behavior in such an instance. There's no excuse, and that person has to be dismissed from the presidential detail. Just plain and simple, gone. Doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Made critical mistakes at a moment when it could have made the difference. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do that job, but when you think about who is in a position to be able to perform those duties, and then you think about Rangers or Special Forces, you have to understand that those people, and I'm not talking to people as though they don't understand that, but I'm just saying, in terms of those people, you want to talk about the best of the best. They have to resist all the things that are part of the human condition to respond. They have to resist the natural functions that a human does. They have to hold their breath. They have to be underwater. They have to be able to resist the natural tendencies with their mind. These aren't just like, these are the best of the best, and 99.9% of people in the service cannot even pass those tests, cannot even make it. And to think that a presidential detail should have any less qualifications in people, you tell me what's more important. Protecting your democratically or elected leader versus just guys who are really important on the war and battleground. To me, the creme of the creme is what is required. And if you actually have a lady that can meet those requirements, kudos, man. Kudos. That's great. But it is independent of sex. It is independent of those things. Those qualifications come before everything else. And when I see a detail after next to a vehicle where, and now I understand people get flusters in circumstance, right? But if you can't even holster your gun, or if you're tilting your head forward when you are there as a human shield, you failed miserably. And so I think that it's a sad day in terms of seeing what people will call diversity, equity, inclusion. And in this particular case, it should be diversity, inclusion, and equity, which spells out DIE. And that's what you're going to get. At least that's my take. So, we're not taking positions in terms of politics, but we're analyzing. These are the words of just what you would say is an analysis of the circumstance. Anyways, let's get back to the chat. And I didn't want to paint this show with that terribly, but when, and I don't know if the folks in the chat here did, but when you experience that range of emotions, if you're just a normal person, if that doesn't affect you for days, you are superhuman, man. It's just the image of a bloodied face of a candidate with his fist out, fist pumping, saying, "Fight, fight, fight." You could read his lips clear as day. At a moment in which they were nearly assassinated, if that's not a natural born leader, I don't know what is. Absolutely amazing. And to see it characterized any other way is it's a disservice. So hey, let's it's Monday morning, so let's get back into the chat here. See how our friends from the land down under also are doing in this lovely Monday evening. See, their Monday's over. Everything that we might be thinking about, what's going on today, it's Monday, blah blah blah. Those guys are like, yeah, mine's done pretty much, and Brent is done carrying all his coworkers for the day, and he's relaxing, saying, "Yep, I did more than my part." Anyways, welcome in here, Terry, Ram, Brent Moncaus. It's great to see you, brother. I'd love to hear people's feedback on some of those the analysis there. I'd love to hear different perspectives. I really would. I'd appreciate it. Yep, a little crosstalk. Hey, Eggplant Frank is here. The party is complete and ready to start. How you doing, brother? Good to see you in here. Crosstalk. Brent says the grassy knoll or the steel roof. Yep, Jerry says, yeah, we dodged a bullet. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting when you see when you talk about what fascism is. One of the definitions for fascism is the taking over of corporate entities with the interest of the state. And when you realize that there's censorship on behalf of the state, you best realize where you're at this time. in what we believe and hope to be a democratic republic. Anyways, I'll get off of that because, our overlords might not care for that. This whole situation has inspired Ky to run for president of his tennis club. Yeah. I gotta believe it beats pickleball. I don't know, man. It's just I've always enjoyed tennis, believe it or not. But I'm not going to run for the president of the tennis club. Eggplant says most will not understand what you are saying, Ky. Yeah, that's right. So I should probably not get into that too long. If you can, Eggplant Frank, if you want to help, I would appreciate, because what Eggplant Frank is saying is that maybe I'm not articulating it in the terms that the masses might understand, and that's entirely possible. Listen, I'm a human. I have all my faults and my difficulties with communication, like we all can at times. Eggplant, please, if you can, articulate that in the chat. I think I would appreciate. I think the viewers would appreciate the additional perspectives and a better addressing of the nuances of such situations. I appreciate your input there, Frank. I think it's probably accurate. Hey, glad to see these guys high fiving back and forth. Eggplant Frank and Ram. Hey, Gaseous Clay, how are you doing, man? The pink dew is just looking lovely this morning. No curlers I could see, but that's all right, man. Looking good, Gaseous Clay. Great to see you in here. And good morning to Jerry, too, as he has joined the chat. SEC Service embarrassed themselves, Secret Service, and D hit the bed, police gawking, woo. Yeah, I get the terminology. Yeah, it's a whole range. Tell me if you folks didn't experience a range of emotions. I found out my mother-in-law called, just talking to my wife, and she tells me that what happened, and I started swearing profusely. And of course, she turned the TV on right away, trying to get information. And the moments were just filled with so much emotion, so much change, 180-degree changes in emotion, and a whole range of different emotions. It was just, it's one of those moments that's just burned into your brain. You cannot forget it. It's crystal clear. It's one of those type of events, right? Jake should be in charge. Where's that coming from, Jerry? What are you talking about? Hey, Bybee, our brother, Bybee. Our brother, man, you're just next door. Well, yeah, kind of just next. Well, a little bit ways across, but not that far from Ohio, man. I'm glad to see you in here, Bybee. He hails close from where Scott is. Not too terribly far, the guys. And freaking love seeing these guys on the Lunatic Lounge. Always fun. Nice. It's a nice hangout. Just always have a good time with these guys. And it's great to see you in here, Bybee. Really appreciate you. Brent Monkhouse says, LOL, Jerry. Then we are all getting shot. Oh, man. I sure hope things go better than that, Brent. Brent's like, well, they took all of our guns. Well, anyways, the ones that aren't hunters, so to speak. Yeah, somebody told me they're taking crossbows from people in Great Britain. Like, you can't even have a crossbow. You know? It's like, man, it's like they're going after Robin Hood now in Great Britain. Is that what's going on? Even Robin Hood? Well, I guess he was the criminal of the day, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right, Bybee. Yeah, good luck, brother. You're in our prayers, man. Bybee, I know you got what is, they say there's certain risk to it, but it's these folks do this stuff every day. It's like them brushing their hair, And so I think it's all going to be good. And I remember, Bybee, I remember your quote saying, as long as I come home the same day, all's good. I agree with that perspective. And so I think everything's going to go fine for you, brother. Yeah. I appreciate you reminding me of that too, Jerry. Thanks. Yeah. Bybee, you're in our prayers, brother. Brent says Jake might talk and interrupt the shooter so much that it might actually work, Jerry. The shooter will be like looking and listening and saying, and he'll be like, by the way. Right, Jake? Jake's in here. Good morning, Jake. Eggplant says, you have misunderstood a little. I was more talking about being able to look objectively at something. This is the human condition. Even I don't believe that I'm able to do that perfectly. I'm aware of all my faults as a human. When I get up in the morning, I'm sure as the day is here, I will make a mistake. And clearly, as objective as I want to be, I am a formation of all that which I've experienced, all that which is part of my genome, all that which is part of my epigenome, which is the software that runs my hardware, and a lot of which is influenced by life experience and, well, you may say stresses in your life or traumatic stresses in your life or lack thereof. All these things form who you are, and they certainly affect your perception. And so I think that's another great point. You could tell Eggplant Frank's a deep thinker. I appreciate that. So let me read it again. You've misunderstood a little. I was more talking about being able to look objectively at something. Yeah. I think it really is. It really is something to every human being should really want and seek to do. It's not an easy thing. It really isn't. It's kind of like meditating, trying not to think of anything or trying not to be biased. It's like if you spend time each day trying to evaluate an idea without necessarily accepting it and looking at it from the standpoint of what are the benefits of the idea, what are the negatives of the idea, or if you're not constantly asking yourself this, and it is a habit I've come to cherish, how I'm wrong on something, taking the perspective, I'm wrong on something here. I need to find out what that is. Or even in a design, for example, there's something wrong here. I need to figure out what's going on. I don't fully understand what's happening because my predicted outcome based on my design is not performing in the way that I anticipate. So there's something that I have assumed or I do not know that needs to be changed or corrected, right? And I'm talking about just generally applying the same principles to how you think, how you perceive life, and what your predispositions are, some of which are wrong. And if you can at least say that there are definitely things that I believe that are wrong, well, how are you going to find out what's a better path for you in the future, right? Welcome, Jake. I know folks don't want to tune in to hear me talk about that stuff, but I can't help but to articulate some of that. Jake Hudson says, good morning, guys. Eggplant says, also not sure about the head down thing, Ky. As long as Trump was blocked, it makes sense to protect your head. Well, the thing about the head comment, Eggplant Frank, if you look at the images, you'll see all those guys who are as tall as Trump standing with their heads tall because they also understand the only way to protect the head of the president is to be in the way of something getting to the head of the president. And so I appreciate your perspective, but if there's some pretty interesting images, in fact, you can look on my Twitter and you can see the reply. I actually replied to an item that was specifically showed the image. And it does show a single agent with their head tilted forward, not elevated, not covering not covering the maximum area of the president, which is the essential detail of a presidential detail, for example, to protect him. human shields, so to speak. But I appreciate that. I could be wrong on that, right? I'll leave that open. Hey, Reverend Freemason in Portland, I am delighted to see you in here. I don't know, we had the commissioner of Catalano TV, Mr. Big Shot, said he might come in here today. So we wait with bated breath for commissioner of Catalano TV, Spider Alomar. I could call him that because everybody knows what that means. Anyways, Reverend Freemason in Portland, a.k.a. Portland Shane Gillis, says, Ky, did you see SJ's tweet right after it happened? What a moron. Yeah, listen, Mason, a lot of times if I look at something he writes, I don't know what it is in my brain, but like I block it out. I choose not to choose to it's one of those things where in your life, there are things that you want and you'll take in and you'll say, yeah, yes, this is information. This is part of important things that I want to think about or embrace or examine. Though that falls into the category of this. I don't want to store this. You know what I'm saying, Mason? I don't want to store this observation here. The words of the train wreck. Yeah, I think I'd be better off to put them out of my mind. So I can't tell you exactly what they were, but I can tell you I remember reading them and just saying, okay, yeah, I want to remove that from my mind. Right? Yeah. Hey, Big Boss in here. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great day, Big Boss. It's Monday, man. I think one of the coolest things about Big Boss is he works with a best friend, man. That sure makes work a lot easier, doesn't it? Good to see you. Eggplant Frank says, who is Bobby and what is... There's nothing wrong. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying, yeah, he's having some type of procedure today. I don't want to mischaracterize it. I believe it's a catheterization. Anyways, I think everything's going to go nice and smooth for our dear friend Bobby. And he's on the Lunatic Lounge, which you can find on Cut of the Jib and Bobby Nick's channel. And I think Scott Fitzpatrick. Is that right? I think so. Yeah, I think you can find it on all three of those channels. And Bobby is a regular there. And he and Scott, some of the most entertaining parts that I find are when he and Scott go back and forth with each other. It's a good time. Yeah. Jake says, did I come to a bad time? Ky is talking about software. When I talk about the epigenome, basically a lot of people will look at that in terms of you're aware of your genes. You got 23 chromosomes, right? And you're aware of the genome, which is considered the hardware, and so the software is considered to be the epigenome, and that's basically what's running everything. It's like you've got the hardware in your computer and then you have the software that runs everything. That's what I'm talking about, friend. You could look it up, epigenome. It's there's actually a lot to learn from that, especially if you have any interest at all in biohacking. Some fascinating topics and a lot to be learned there. So much so that, I can't even put it into a short phrase. It's just a really exciting category. Detroit by Dark, welcome in here. Got to check with TM Zuma for all your hack for snooze. Yeah. Right. You want all the profound information you can get from that source for sure. Just whatever you do, don't cross Anthony Cumia. Look, he'll send people after you if you believe that. Welcome in here, Detroit by Dark. Good to see you. Yep, some crosstalk in the chat. We got the best chat, I tell you. Big Boss says Levy can't read. Bobby, thanks, Kai, for the positive vibes. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Listen, they've got to tell you, like, yeah, there's certain risks, this and that, but those people, man, honestly, it really is like they're brushing their hair. It's just ooh, Miss Honeybee. She's the shortest Viking you'll ever meet, and she's really shy. And so her way of making sure you can hear her is to sneeze. She's a professional sneezer, and of course, she's got that endearing laugh. Anyways, somehow she's on the show, right? I guess. Yeah, Bobby, man, it's all gonna go great, brother. I'm looking forward to you coming home tonight and saying, "I am glad that's over with." But I don't think I think when you come home tonight, you'll be like, "Ah, that wasn't so bad." That's what I think. Bobby says, "Oh, okay, Jerry, it's not today. Had to wait till the okay. Yeah, he's right. You're a little bit under the weather. That's smart. That's a smart move. I think. Yeah, you want to be in. You want your immune system not to be heightened when you're going through a procedure, right? You want your immune system to be in fully recovered mode from you know getting over something, a little bug that you had, right? That makes sense. Smart. Okay, so moving it to Wednesday. Oh, that's great, man. You got nothing to worry about, man. Nothing to worry. We got you, brother. You're in our prayers. And Ram says, I will be back. No soccer talk this morning, Ram? What happened this weekend? And Brent says, Ram is doing his Arnold impression. I'll be back. I got it. Yep. He is. So you might say, Kai, what national day is it? Well, I can tell you what national day it is. And there may not be many days, and there might be quite a few. Social Media Giving Day, it says. Social Media Giving Day. Well, if I'm being objective, we're listening to you. The show is being broadcast on social media, so I'm not a huge fan of it. Clearly, I'm reaping some benefits from it in terms of being able to well, I guess we'll put it entertain. It's got to be careful how we word that. Our dear friends. So Social Media Giving Day. Okay, I could see that. Part of the motivation for social media is wanting to, give back, right? Wanting to do something to, well, for instance, at Catalano TV, we love the folks, and we certainly want to have shows that do broadcasts that they appreciate and enjoy. So I can see that facet of it. What other national day is it? Well, it's National Get Out the Doghouse Day. Get out of the doghouse day. Well, this might be more useful for those of us who've been told to get out of the house. Hopefully, you're not in the doghouse. I remember one of my buddies, his cousin told him, I'm out. He's like, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm out, which means his wife threw him out of the house. I'm out. It's like, oh, man, you're out? Yeah, I'm out. And, maybe be 3 or 4 days. Then he'll be back. I don't know. I don't know. These Italian friends of mine, interesting ways, man. I'll tell you. Interesting ways. What are you doing, man? You're out. Okay, the other one is National Gummy Worm Day. Yeah, I'll pass. Thanks. Of course, this is where Brent will say, what's the matter, Kai? Don't you want some sugar? Hello. And the other one's National Tapioca Pudding Day. Now, that's something I loved as a kid. You still love having tapioca pudding. That's going back, though, quite the ways. Now, the other national day is National I Love Horses Day. horses are beautiful animals, and if you've ever been up close to a normal sized horse, they are big, man, and they are muscular as heck, and they subsist on what is a vegetarian diet. However, their system is tailored for such, and they're just absolutely beautiful. I remember one time we were taking mom out for her birthday. We drove into the country side. Just took her for a drive out in the country. And we just happened across an Amish horse auction. And we got to see all the beautiful horses brought out for auction. And it was just a wonderful experience. And my wife and I, we like to go to what is called the Lake Farm Park, which is a park that's outside of well, it's in Lake County, Ohio. We like to go to that place, and yeah, you can see all the animals, and it's just a lot of fun. So, National I Love Horses Day. Also, National Pet Fire Safety Day. Now, this one's open to interpretation, right? National Pet Fire Safety Day. Got a dog with a fire hat on. Well, yeah, I mean, if God forbid you have a fire in your house, it's definitely want to get your pets out, right? I can understand that. Maybe just we'll try to make the awareness, right, for that event that never happens in most people's lives. Also, a National Give Something Away Day, July 15th. National Give Something Away Day. I think that's kind of a nice thing, right? And that could be as simple as a smile to a stranger. Well, if you're ladies, you got to be careful about this, but that could be as simple as giving a smile away to a stranger. Sometimes you can brighten somebody's day just by a smile. Facts, right? Go back to the chat. Eggplant Frank says, I love tapioca pudding. Yeah, I used to like that, man. When I was a kid, I absolutely loved it. I imagine my wife probably could still make something like that with like the mirror image of the sugar molecule allulose. But tend not to. I think it's made from a root vegetable, right? Tapioca is made from a root vegetable. I can't think off the top of my head what that is. I could Google it, but not that important because I have no intentions of consuming it again. Eggplant Frank's just playing this a little brotherly love. Hey, don't be a pussy. Don't be a wuss. Come on, man up. And actually, I think he is quite manned up. Actually, Bobby's a good dude. Yep, this is the way guys talk. See, it's funny because the way Eggplant Frank is talking here, I could hear Scott Fitzpatrick saying something like that, right? These guys going back and forth. Just a little brotherly ribbon, right? That's all it is. Appreciate you, Bobby and Eggplant Frank. Good to see you in here, I'll tell you. Anyways, there's some interesting science news too. Those guys emerged from the NASA research where they had the 1 year Mars habitat mission. I don't know if you folks saw any of that. Those guys came out. I shouldn't say those guys, those people, because I want to say there were at least maybe 2 or 3 ladies, 2 guys, something like that. Anyways, they came out of the experiment, and they all had face diapers on. And the people that greeted them all had face diapers on. And if you know anything about the Cochrane studies for, on the last two Cochrane studies, which is it's a world-renowned source for data and studies, the highest standards, both of which showed that face diapers are not effective for, well, catching the stuff face diapers are supposed to do. If you understand the size of particles, you understand transmission, you understand propagation, and you understand, well, it's not rocket science, Let's put it this way. If you're in your house and if you got a sensitive sniffer, and it matters if you don't have a sensitive sniffer too, but if you're in your house with the doors closed and windows closed, I could smell when the neighbor's smoking outside. Now, think in terms of particle size. If there is one of those particles can get in my house and I can smell it, if we think in terms of sizes of, well, say, for example, viruses or something, I think you get what I'm saying. You understand where I'm going with that one. Anyways. So it's kind of, when I see people who, one was a medical doctor, they're all engineers probably. And so it's kind of surprising to see, well, what really feels like a lack of logic going on in people who are participating in a laboratory experiment, right? Of epic proportions, so to speak, if it's in terms of Mars, right? And Detroit by Dark says, think in terms of mitigation. I know that the wearing of masks typically for surgeons, for example, are to keep, maybe splatters off the face, right? And but the effectiveness of preventing transmission, large, like if you're going to sneeze or cough, or if there's a lot of, let's just say, vapor imparted by exhale, I could see mitigation. I understand that. I just don't know. Well, I do know in terms of what's been proven through the Cochrane studies. If you look at the Cochrane studies, you'll better know what I'm referring to. It just doesn't stand up to logic and reason. However, there are people who feel better when they do that, and there's something to be said for that too, I guess. And so in 2024's meteor season is promising to be spectacular. Yeah, I've seen meteor showers many times, and it's just always a wonderful thing to be able to catch, right? The conditions have to be just right. No clouds. The Perseus meteor showers are always fun to see too. What else do we have? Yeah, the SpaceX Falcon 9s. More specifically, the second stage. They're saying that the workhorse rockets are grounded. And this is typical for investigations. I think the second stage had a rapid disassembly, so to speak, which is basically substitution for saying exploded. And these things can happen sometimes if, say, if one of the nozzles is emitting fuel that is not being combusted, and it builds up to a certain point in an area that is large enough to receive cross combustion from another engine, for example, then you've got a circumstance where there can be non-controlled combustion, which would be outside of a nozzle, for example, or if there was a leak, for example, as well. So I'll have to figure out what happened there. The second stages are not reusable. So, and that's the whole purpose of, part of the purpose for Starship, which is a completely reusable second stage. And this of epic proportions, by the way, I might add. Just profound difference. It's the impact and the potential for Starship is not well understood by most people. It's just an amazing thing that's going to happen. But yeah, so it's kind of sad to see the Falcons grounded temporarily. Hopefully, get through that rather quickly. And Ram is back in the saddle. Some crosstalk. So, folks, have you ever heard of this? A green dinosaur? Not aware of it. Natalie with a G, GNATLTALIE. Natalie is the only green bone dinosaur found on the planet. Okay. I wonder if that has something to do with where it was found, but not exactly a story I'd want to dive into too much. Feel free to add to the chat anybody's analysis or take on the circumstance that happened this past Saturday night in the United States here. In the neighboring state to me, actually, Pennsylvania. And in fact, only about, maybe 3 hours away. Something thereabouts, 3.5 hours away. And I did have quite the busy weekend. I spent a lot of time Saturday working. Actually, I got a project that I'm working on, and so I think I'm going to end up closing up shop here a few minutes early. But definitely appreciate everybody stopping in here. Let us know if you got any additional chats you want us to go through before you depart. Appreciate you all coming in here. I hope you have a great Monday night or Tuesday morning, for that matter, Tuesday. And I hope you have a great Monday. And just remember, just reframe it. It's not Monday. Just make it something else in your mind. You know, there's a way to do that. Just, think of this guy, maybe, that'll make you laugh. You won't worry about being Monday, right? Of course, you could always think of this guy. Well, you don't really want this guy too much. This guy's not so bad. This guy? Oh, yeah. And everybody's dancing on the ceiling or running with the night. Yep. I guess maybe Big Shot will make it in here another day. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Catalano TV is a rocket ship. Don't forget to catch the Alpha Shot Lounge at 10 p.m. on Monday and Wednesdays. That's Mrs. the Alpha Female. The commissioner of Catalano TV, Big Shot, which is part of Alpha Shot's naming convention, Spider Almar, and Kahuna Nui at 10 p.m. tonight, actually. And by the way, this is where I will ask folks to subscribe to Ky and Friends. That's our channel that we will be broadcasting Ky and Friends at some point exclusively on the Ky and Friends show, which is I'll actually let me take a moment here to add the link into the chat so folks can subscribe. Really appreciate it. We are delighted with the total and complete endorsement of our brother Joseph Samuel. We will be putting the Ky and Friends show exclusively on that channel. I did talk to Joey about the Ky and Friends show, and we're going to run another week on Catalano TV for that show. And Joey's answer was, "You can stay as long as you like, brother." And those are the words of a brother, I'll tell you. And however, the impression folks have that I'm leaving Catalano TV, I think that would be inaccurate because I'm still going to be on Rock Talk Live on Sundays at 4 p.m. with Cut of the Jib, my go-to source for rock and roll information. I just love the detail that Jib brings to the scene. I will still be on Rock Talk Live. We will still have happy hour on Catalano TV at 5 p.m. and Saturday mornings at Catalano TV. And so while the morning show or the evening show in terms of our Australian listeners, Ky and Friends will be, the intention is to build up Ky and Friends network and to get subscribers. So if you can, we posted it here in the channel in the chat so that folks, if you could, be really appreciative if you could subscribe. It builds up the number of subscribers, and it'll help us on a path towards monetization. And certainly, we're not leaving our dear brother Joseph Samuel. We'll continue to help him and Honey C. And we are blessed to have known the Catalanos, and so we're pretty much inseparable in my eyes, in our eyes. And so appreciate folks subscribing. I love Terry's words. Save America's Republic. There's never been a more important time to heed those words, I believe. Terry says it just means exactly in German. Maybe I got to go back here. I missed. Oh, here we go. Here, yeah. Forgive me, folks. I got to get caught up in the chat. I think we had like a delay in the chat or something. I see. Here we go. Terry, my dear friend. Genau or Gina. Correct me, please. If I'm being honest, Terry, I mentioned before about like reading comments from like Stuttering John and not knowing exactly what they were, because as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, that's not going into storage. Nope. I'm leaving that one. I'm not going to think about it. I choose to let it leave my mind. Right. And so, Terry, I have to be honest with you. This particular, artist is not exactly my cup of tea, so to speak. I choose not to be able to have those sounds or memories in my brain. And Terry continues to push them towards me on Twitter. Freaking love you, Terry, but not so much with that dude. Not so much. Oh, man. It is funny. It's entertaining. Terry sends these clips of this guy who's wearing a helmet that has basically been layered with disco ball mirrors on it. And he's quite the character, flamboyant character, at a keyboard standing there, kind of like a less than talented Weird Al Yankovic without the catchiness, let's just say, of the songs. If that's fair. Let me know if that's a fair characterization, Terry. Ram says, high five, Frank. Good night, Frank. Yeah. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We're so blessed here at Catalano TV. Yep. Good to see you in here. Ram, I hope you have a great night. I hope you go to bed with a smile on your face and goodness in your heart. And Terry says, genau, 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 genau. He says it means exactly in German. I just rather it meant good night. Genau, good night. Of course, that would be good Nacht, right? Or Ein klein Nacht music, little night music. I saw the premiere of that, says Big Boss. Yeah, kind of hard to unsee, right, Big Boss? Kind of like those comments from SJ, so to speak. You just kind of want to unsee them sometimes, and you can't. Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, if you can, like and subscribe. It does go a long way to show support for the show and the channel. And Terry's further illustrating that just means exactly in German. What's your problem? What's your problem? My problem is the music that it's put to. Right? And it is my problem, right? I can't exactly embrace it. I love this quote, though. Save America's Republic. Exactly. And he said, oh, it's stuck. Indelible memory now. Yeah, Terry. You're attacking my brain. All right, folks. Appreciate y'all coming in here. We're going to roll out with some more wonderful Catalano TV music. And so ci vediamo, ciao, L'chaim Nastrovia, cheers, and tally ho!
Joey C and Honey C laughing loud on TV. Ky with those guitar leads, Spider's drum beat melody. Honeybee laughs and sneezes, good vibes always pleases. Kahuna knew we never slow, makes the good times flow. Catalano TV, fun for you and me. Epic jams every night, under the spotlight. Tunes that make you sway, watch the troubles fade away. Every note a celebration, join the blues sensation. Friends all gathered round, living in the sound. Joy in every beat, dancing in our seat. Catalano TV, fun for you and me. Epic jams every night, under the spotlight. That make you sway, watch the troubles fade away. Every note a celebration, join the blues sensation. Friends all gather round, living in the sound. Joy in every beat, dancing in our seat.